This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Doing good. Oh, how are you?
Can't complain, my brother. Let's see if the Dolphins give me something to complain on Sunday. We shall see. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we're at right now in the big picture. Where are we in our QB search? What is going on?
Well, I think you're part of the negotiating game. You're in the negotiating stage. You've had Cam Ward, you've had Will Howard come by.
I got no money. No, don't get me involved in this. I got no money.
Well, I know you. I know you're always good for some money. You always got something in the back pocket between Bitcoin and everything else. You got something there, bro.
Bitcoin. I'm not sure. Tell Cam I'm not giving him any of my Bitcoin. Okay, no, I'm doing it.
Well, I think the honest to God truth, when it comes to Cam Ward, I think a lot of this has to do with the NFL and whether or not he's going to decide to go pro. I think some of the grades he's gotten back, fourth round type grade. I think his family's probably interested in him making the jump to the next level. And so I think that's part of the reason why there's a delay in this process. He's deciding. I think he's going to decide probably by the end of the week what he's going to end up doing. But Florida State has another option. Florida State has DJ Uiagalelei, who was at Oregon State, so they have somebody else. Miami is sort of looking now. Well, what is our other option, right? Will Howard ends up committing to USC, which I think is what most people expect. Then KJ Jefferson is probably what's behind door number 3 for Miami, and he's a guy who started a bunch of games at Arkansas. And I don't necessarily think would be any sort of downgrade. He wouldn't be as good as Cam Ward, certainly. Right. But I think that's potentially door number 3 for Miami.
And that's what you think is going to end up happening?
I don't know what's going to end up happening. I think a lot of this is ultimately Cam Ward. I think if Cam Ward decides I want to come back to college and raise my draft stock, because it is a loaded quarterback class in the draft, is it not? There's a lot of guys.
Yes, it is. Yes. That's why, when you said Cam Ward, 4th rounder, I found that interesting because I go, that's the kind of pick that the Dolphins would throw out in the 4th or 5th round for a backup quarterback. So
yeah,
and like that,
Yeah, and I think a lot of people think he has that pro potential, but for a guy like him, do you roll the dice, right, and say I'll come back for one more year of college and
they're going to pay you good money. They're going to pay you better money than 4th round money.
Right. If they give you 1.5, which is I think what the asking price is for Cam in college, if they're going to give you 1.5 for 1 year of college, or you go and you're a backup and you don't know what's going to happen, right? Because most NFL teams, if they take you in the 4th or 5th round, you're just waiting for somebody to get hurt. Yeah. I think, but that's ultimately what I think he's weighing right now. And I think once he reaches that decision, Miami will know what to do and to pivot. And listen, there's a lot of quarterbacks out there. Are all of them, awesome? Are all of them great? No, but I think you just need a bridge guy. You just need somebody who can get you to Emory Williams in 2025 so that Emory Williams has another year to develop. And then you have a whole nother recruiting cycle and you see what happens.
Wow. Okay. So we're at a point where it could get ugly for Miami at quarterback, actually.
It could, but I don't think it will. Because they've got money. Like Miami's clearly has money.
Apparently, the money's not good enough right now for Cam, the guy you want.
Right.
Not really about money for him if he's really thinking about because and this is what I was telling you. Like, okay, he'll make more money next year than he will in the NFL, but in the NFL, he's going to have a 3-year contract.
Right.
So he's going to be working already on his first contract and waiting for that opportunity. And you know how these guys are. All I need is my chance. And then when I get my chance, I'll prove it. And then I'll bring the money in and all that kind of stuff. So
the risk,
start working on your first contract or go back for 1 season and still risk injury and make money.
Right. That's what it is. It's risk. I think it's the risking the injury part for all these guys, because if you were in his position and you say, well, you could be a 4th round pick, right? Somebody takes you, you can already start that first contract, working your way towards a second. There's advantages to that. You're already in the league. You're reaching your dream. Whereas, hey, do I go back and risk injury, but I could maybe make myself into a 1st rounder, and get some serious big time payday in the beginning, and that way. So it's a lot to weigh. So I don't, I understand why Cam Ward is taking his time, because you really have to get a good feel. And I think part of this too is getting a good feel for which NFL teams really like you, right? Like which NFL teams they give you a 4th-round grade. But if an NFL team, doesn't need you or doesn't really think, you could slip to the 5th, 6th, 7th round. So
Yeah. Is there any hardship in his family?
no,
Is that
not that I'm aware of. I know both of his parents are very much involved in his life, and he raised in West Texas.
Frank Gore had to leave? Like he had no choice.
Yeah, there's certain guys that it's pivotal to. I mean, listen, you tell anybody 1.5 million to go to college or go and sign an NFL contract, like you're living a good life either way. It's not a bad thing, right?
No.
So he has good options. It's just picking the best option for himself.
Yeah. All right. So talk to me about the rest of the recruiting class, because I'm reading, trying to flip Ohio State guy, that top 5 possibly. What's going on?
Yeah, last night they picked up Jordan Lyle, who is one of the best running backs in the country. He's technically their 3rd running back. I don't see how they take 3 running backs in this class. I think part of this is playing defense in case one of their other commitments flips to Alabama. Riley is his last name, and I think if he flips to Alabama, then Miami still takes 2 running backs, and you're happy with what you got. So that was a big pickup, getting Jordan Lyle last night. They're probably going to flip Armando Blunt. He's going to announce tomorrow night at 6 p.m.
That's the one that was to Ohio State.
That's the one that was committed to Florida State. It was committed to Miami, then he flipped to Florida State. Armando Blunt's a 5-star edge rusher. Okay. He committed to Miami in September, flipped to FSU in October. Then he moved up in class from 2025 to 2024, so he could graduate early because he's smart. He's got a smart kid with good grades and all that. And so now Miami's fighting to bring him back. There's a couple of other guys that they're pushing for. One of them is Xavier Lucas. He's a 3-star cornerback from Plantation American Heritage. He's committed to Wisconsin. Who's the other one I wrote about? There's too many kids to keep track of. Between that and the transfer portal, this is without question the zaniest time of the year, because there's just so much movement, and I'm tracking the transfer portal for the ACC, the SEC. I'm like sitting here just flipping through names all the time. And I'm telling you, the amount of player movement. I mean, I talked with Rhett Lashley. We have Rhett Lashley on for an interview for our podcast on The Athletic, our Stars Matter podcast. And he was just telling me some of the stuff off air about how kids nowadays, we had one commitment tell him, I'm gonna sign with you guys in December. This is in August. I'm gonna sign with you guys in December, but when I announce my top 3, I'm not gonna include you in there because I want to build the suspense. Meanwhile, he still has to recruit because he doesn't know whether or not to trust the kid, if he's really going to follow through and sign in December. But this is just the example of the bullshit people have to deal with in recruiting now, with these kids, because they have so much power around, who they sign with and playing the game and NIL and all that kind of stuff. So it's crazy, but that's what's going on now, man.
Wow. All right. By the way, how good is Deion Sanders' class?
The Colorado class, well, listen, he's picking up transfers. The high school class rankings are not going to be very high because he's not going to take a lot of high school kids. And ultimately, all of those rankings, are predicated on how many kids you take. Like right now, Miami's 6th, right? If you look at it in total points or whatever, and they have a chance to crack the top 5. But a big part of that is they're taking close to 30 kids, right? Whereas the average player rating to me almost counts for more. It's quality of the kid.
Right. And Deion's taking transfers, guys that are closer to helping him win right now.
Exactly.
Is what he's doing, probably. Right. Okay. I got you. Yeah. And he must have a bunch of kids knocking on their door. And I would imagine that the boosters have lined up for Colorado. They have come in strong, I would imagine. And what sponsors do, or do they get to contribute to the fund?
Everything is money, man. Everything is how much money can your NIL initiative raise, and every one of these kids is looking to make a payday. You got to remember this. You look at the transfer portal now, and I spend a lot of time doing this, man. I create these large ass sheets, and I track every kid that leaves the school, how many snaps they play, how many starts. Like, there's so many kids that leave these SEC schools. They come in as 5- and 4-star recruits, and then they want to get paid because they didn't really play when they were at Alabama and Georgia on the bench, right? So those kids suddenly become valuable to a school like Colorado, who needs to bring in big-bodied studs, right? Even though they haven't played. So the amount of money that's raised just to lure these kids in is incredible. It's a racket, man. It really is.
All right. How do you think it's going to work out for Tyler Van Dyke in Wisconsin?
I think he's going to do well. I mean, they run an air raid type offense. You know, they've got good players in Wisconsin. The Big Ten Conference is not going to be easy because there's some good defensive teams there. Obviously, I don't think Wisconsin's going to suddenly win the Big Ten and make the college football playoff. But there's talent there. He's got a good coach who's taken a team to a playoff before. So why not? Why not go play for a guy who won at Cincinnati and spend your last year in college trying to improve your draft stock? I think they're going to tailor the offense around him. They're going to let him throw the football. They'll probably play with some pace because that's when he plays at his best, when he's playing up-tempo style. And he'll do well. He'll do well. But he needed a change of scenery because things just weren't working out down here.
Yeah, I know. It's the right move for him. No doubt about it. All right. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro and catch his work there at The Athletic. Better yet, subscribe. All right, folks?
Yeah.
Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. We'll catch up on Friday, my friend. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Good talking to you. Take care.
You got it. Thank you, sir. Don't forget to use our code BIG010 online at caneswear.com, and you get free shipping when you order over $99. But use our code BIG010 to get 10% off. And if you go in personally, you want to get a Inter Miami shirt or jersey, Miami Heat, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, or anything with a Hurricanes logo on it, they got it there at caneswear.com or at Caneswear at 2655 South University Drive in Davie.